On this episode of Street Rat Garage, we are back to working on the Vice Grip Garage ramp truck and putting shiny parts on junk old cars. Pretty sure this costs more than the whole truck. We're finally back working on the Vice Grip Garage original ramp truck. So if you're not familiar with this truck, we bought this from Derek at Vice Grip Garage, I don't know what, 6 months ago, give or take, and promised to do some work on it and just have not got around to it. So that changes today. Let's go ahead and have a look over this truck and get a list together and see what we need to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look in here and see what we're working with today. Yeah, this is pretty much the way I got it from Derek. I haven't changed anything except the battery. It still has a clicky-clack pump on it, which is good. This old fuel filter is not so good, so we need to make a list before we go to the parts store so we can, we don't have to go 7 or 8 times. We'll get our parts together, and then we'll only have to go back like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, what do we need to do? So obviously we need to do something here, and that's what I got that radiator for. This is just not going to work. I mean, it is a mess right in through here. This radiator does not fit. It has some sort of hokey bracketing system. Actually, it only has one. There's only one bracket holding this in, and this tied what used to be a ratchet strap. We have flexi hose, which that's okay, but we'll see if we can't find anything better. We got a regular hose at the bottom, and we got that. I don't know, it's a mess. Over here on the battery, we have this stuff that's going on that always causes a problem when I'm trying to start it. It doesn't tighten down. We got one good wire, I think, that Derek actually put this ground wire on. We have 2 lines running out. One goes to the winch, one goes to the starter. So I think we're good on the winch because the winch does operate. So we're gonna have to leave that line in there. And what does this line go to? This one goes directly to the alternator. Yep, there's that. There's that, which we probably won't fix. Oh man, it is a mess underneath it here. We got this PCV valve stuck in the Edelbrock carburetor. But anyway, one thing at a time. This is what we need to address. This actually functions very well and has never overheated. But yeah, aesthetically it's disgusting, and eventually that strap is going to break and our radiator is going to go right into our fan, and we're going to be eliminating our fan, by the way. Get rid of that too. Okay, well, let's get started. Now, before we start getting our hands too dirty, let's go ahead and do a tour of this truck for anyone that has not seen this truck or who does not know about it. So this originally come from Derek, Vice Grip Garage. It's in a couple of his episodes. He used it to haul some sort of weird mid-engine car back from the Freedom Factory back up to Tennessee. Well, halfway up there. Anyway, now these rims right here, they came off of the crew cab, the Cat Farm crew cab. Those were the original rims that he had on there, and he tossed them on this truck. The ones that were on there originally were not great, but those are powder coated, brand new tires and brand new rims. There's probably $800 in tires and rims there. So, that was a bonus that we got with the truck. We have a look on the inside. We have the B&M ratchet shifter that Derek had to put in there for, you know, making life easier to get back, because it just had some sort of weird rigged up wire deal going on that was a total mess. I mean, the whole truck is a total mess. But yeah, that was installed. Another thing that Derek installed on this truck was a set of Vice Grip Garage hood savers. This is a beta production of those hood savers, which as of filming this, they still are not out, but it has definitely saved on this hood quite a bit. But yeah, that being said, I think that's about the extent of the customization of this truck. It has a nice solid bed on it. It has a good, is that a Badlands or winch? I don't know what it is, but it's like a 12,000 pound winch that is very good shape. I have been using this truck and it has appeared in a couple other videos. We hauled the 1951 Buick to the car wash with it. We pulled the bumper out on one of the square body trucks, and just done miscellaneous work with it. We took, we took the Roadkill Maverick to Cletus and Cars in Indy with it. So it's been putting in work and we've been getting our money out of it. This was actually a good deal. I can't even remember what I paid for it, but it was cheap for what it is. But the only problem is this is a 3/4 ton chassis. It's not a 1 ton. It only has the single wheels on the back. You can't just, you know, slap duals on there and, you know, it doesn't have the right springs on it. It doesn't have the right fronts on it. But maybe one day we can pull the duals out of this old parts truck we have up here and maybe slap underneath there. You know, that's a thought. So there's that. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but for now, let's just go ahead and get it running a little bit better and looking a little bit better as well. So this is where we're going to start, right here with this this radiator support, which is got to be one of the hackiest hacks of all hack time. So I can understand using some zip ties to hold some stuff in. Maybe even a regular ratchet strap that, you know, actually ratchets down, but when you're forced to use a broken ratchet strap or just the end of one, I mean, that's a whole level of hackery. And that's ridiculous. And without it, it just, this is it. It's loose. It comes out of that bracket and it's just flopping around. So it did its job, I guess. But you think you would have fixed that, you know, eventually. And when I say hack jobs, I'm actually referring to the people that put this together originally, not Derek. He's not the one that wrapped that around there. I mean, I don't think he would even do that unless it was a super emergency, and I'm pretty sure he would fix it. But actually, I don't think he would do that. He would zip tie. He would zip tie it in place like a normal human being. Well, that's enough complaining about how other people work on their vehicles. Let's do some hackery of our own. Everything is in here with just cheap hose clamps, so it will take no time at all to pull these off of here and have this radiator out. Okay, and that's it out. And can you see how dirty and disgusting the water is that's inside of here? Yeah. So that's a good reason not to run water in your radiator, even if you are in a state that doesn't get below freezing. Now let's come in here and have a look at this radiator. It was smashed here and had just a little bit of a leak, it looks like. So it's definitely been leaking all that time. You can see here, the screw here, that's where the fan rubbed up against it. Probably why they had to put that strap on there and then never fixed it again, and probably damaged right there. But this looked like it was a replacement radiator. Probably not one out of a junkyard, so I don't know, it's copper on it. But anyway, it was a good radiator until they popped a hole in it. So there's that. Now down here at our fan where it bolts on, we can see that we only have 1, 2, 3 bolts, and we're missing the 4th bolt there, which is, you know, not that big of a deal. But what is this power steering belt, and the fact that the power steering is a little bit on the loose side. So that's why we get a little bit of a squeak when we turn the steering wheel. So this has an aftermarket aluminum intake in it. It looks like an Edelbrock, some sort of Performer, and an Edelbrock carburetor, which Edelbrock carburetors, they're pretty good, you know, just for driving around. I don't think they're real performance monsters, but anyway, we're getting off track. We need to see if we can't align that. I don't know if we can align that or not, or if we're just stuck with that for the time being, but we'll try that. We'll at least get a new belt and put on there, and we'll pull this fan off and bolt that pulley back down. And our list is starting to get long. And there is our fan. It's actually a pretty good fan. These are probably one of the best fans for cooling, in my opinion, the good old clutch fan. And it definitely cooled this truck really well, all the way back from Tennessee, running 60, 65 miles an hour. No problems at all. Now I'm just loosening up all the bolts on the accessory drive, loosening up this alternator belt, so I can get this power steering belt out from underneath of it. This I put this on when I was down in Tennessee. This is the alternator belt because the old one immediately broke pretty much as soon as I started the truck up, and I just happened to have it in the Maverick that we drove down there, and it just happened to be the same size, which it looks like the power steering belt is also the same size, or maybe it's a little smaller, or maybe it might be a hair smaller, but there's a number on it. We'll go match up this belt and get a new one and toss that back on there. Then we'll have hopefully non-squeaky power steering. Now, even though I just complained about people doing hackery, we will be doing our own hackery, because right here we need a spacer. We don't have a spacer, but we do have washers. So they make excellent spacers. So what I'm trying to say is there's hackery and then there's hackery. We will be doing the other type of hackery. Not so bad. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's really more like tomfoolery than hackery. Okay, does that line up pretty good? Looks like it. So yeah, just like that. We have a spacer and we have a solid water pump that's not wobbling around. I mean, that did not take long. That is some good tomfoolery right there. All right, it is time to bring in the new shiny stuff, which is way too good for this truck, even though it is made in China. It says so right there, but it says QC passed, quality control passed. So yeah, I'm sure somebody was checking on these. Anyway, let's slip this in here and see how well she fits. And well, the very first thing I am noticing is there is no rubber, anything to support the bottom of the radiator. So let's hunt around here and see if we can't come up with something to cushion this radiator so we don't get it all beat up. Well, I can't find anything. There's nothing on the parts truck, but I did find this little bit of rubber hose that we can go ahead and cut up and make some sort of insulation in between our radiator and our frame so it doesn't rub a big old hole in our brand new radiator. We'll just cut it in half, wrap it around the bottom core support, and we'll be insulated. And remember, it's tomfoolery, not hackery. Okay, let's grab our new guy. and slide him into place here. And see if we have enough room. Okay, we're touching a little bit on the core support, maybe over just a little bit. Like that. Flexi hose fits right on there. Try this bottom hose real quick. Get everything just held into place, and we'll have a look at it. Get on there. Get on there, bottom hose. Come on. There we go. Okay. We'll just put this wire around here, and that'll hold our radiator into place so we can look at it real quick. Okay, there's our radiator just hanging out, sitting there. Looks like we're going to run into the same problem as the other people. These radiators would have had a fan shroud that would have bolted right here to hold it in. We don't have that, so we're going to have to come up with a way that's not a ratchet strap and a cheesy bracket. So we might have to make our own cheesy brackets. So I found these brackets in my pole barn. I've had these for like 20 years or so. They were for another project. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bend these up, and we're going to call it fabrication this time. I think that's a good word for it. Down, over, down maybe. Anyway, I'm going to bend these up. We're going to make some brackets, at least until we find something better. This will be way better than any zip tie, way better than any ratchet strap, way better than, yeah, doing it right. Okay, I'll be right back with some bent up fabricated tomfoolery brackets. I got one bracket made, and it's going to kind of look something like that, and then we'll take it and we'll go right here, whoops, right here, not right there, like this, and right to the old core support, and that should hold it in. I could definitely make that better, but I'm not a fabricator, so that's what it's going to look like for now. Maybe if anybody knows of any aftermarket supports that we can put in there, you know, just hit me up on that. But I think we're going to work with what we got right here. I'm going to make up another one of these real quick, and then we'll come right back and toss these guys in and see how it looks. Okay, one bracket, two brackets. They almost look the same, so I think we're good to go here. We're pretty much just going to go here with this one. Oops, drop the nut twice. We'll put it over here so we don't lose that. And we're just pretty much going to bolt it right to the stud that's sticking out. That goes right through the radiator and right through the fan shroud. So that should be more than sturdy enough to hold our radiator into place. We'll put a hole there, and we'll come over here to this side and rinse and repeat. Drill a hole into the core support, and we will have our makeshift fabricated brackets in. So yeah, that needs to be bent back just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to drill a couple holes here, and we will have the radiator in, and then we can start hooking up the fans. Okay, now that we're done with the fun stuff, it is time to get to the wiring. We got a relay and our fuse and our trigger here. So let's go ahead and get this thrown in and make our fans run, put some coolant in, put our belts on, and do all that other fun stuff. All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is find a place to put this guy. And I imagine right here in this intake is going to be a pretty good place. So I got my little Allen wrench out here. So let's pop that out real quick and get that tossed right on in there. Shock it a little bit. Be careful not to poke a hole in my brand new radiator. It's moving. Okay, I think we got it broke loose now. Or we need to tap it a little bit more, one of the two. Normally I don't tap on Allen wrenches, but this is a nice thick one, and it's moving nicely. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Come on, get out of there. This guy's really in there. Put red Loctite in there or something. There it goes. Whoops. Boy, that was not in there well. Man, I hope I didn't pull out any threads. Huh. That looks like it was only in there by like 2 threads. I wonder if they cross-threaded it or something. I'm not feeling good about that. Well, let's just, yeah, no, it's not in the right size. Well, can we put that back in there? We don't have an adapter for that. I didn't even think to check the size. Man, this truck is fighting us a little bit here. Let's get this sucker tossed back in there and pretend we didn't do any of that. Okay, I threaded back in there. We're good. It's still only in there like was 2 threads. That is not good. One of these days we probably ought to change that intake. Let's find see if we can find another port to stick this in. Well, more problems. This truck is a fighter. It does not like you to mess around with it at all. I think the plug's starting to strip off. Not the plug, the head of that sensor that goes to the temperature. That port is too big. I don't see another port that's easy to get to, but we are not going to let that stop us. We just will wire the fans up without the temperature sensor. So we'll just do it manually. We'll manually control our fans. One of these days we'll get us a nice intake, because this intake it's bad. We'll get us a better intake and we'll put our sensor in that other intake. Either that, maybe it's easier just to change the whole engine. I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to LS swap or big block this. The big block's out because it wasn't any good. And I still have the LS, but this is a good engine. And I asked for comments in the last video, and there's a few people that said just keep the engine that's in it. It's fine. Which, I mean, it is fine. It runs good. It runs really good. I'm just worried about it being underpowered, but maybe if we switch to that dually rear end, lower gear ratio, we won't have to worry about that. So yeah, I'm gonna wire this direct. We'll have fans. It'll cool. We'll be good. Well, next we will install our relay, and that's our relay switch. Here's our fan, and here's our wires that have no ends on it, and this is our fan that has a plug-in, which of course they don't give us any way to plug the relay into the fan. I mean, come on. You can't plug the fans into this wiring harness because they don't give you the proper stuff. So more tomfoolery, it looks like. and it's not my fault this time. Well, it is my fault because I ordered the cheap overseas stuff, and that's what I get. They give you a little bag that has a couple ends on it that have absolutely nothing to do with that. So, we're gonna make it work though. We're one way or the other. This is gonna work, and it's gonna work good, or okay, or good enough. At least they give you a fuse to put in here. What's this, a 30 amp? Yeah, it's a 30 amp fuse, so that should blow immediately. Now I will be mounting the relay right here because there's already a hole here. This is where the windshield washer reservoir would have went, or did go at one time. It's missing now, so that's okay. Don't need that. And right next to it, and our ground just barely makes it, just nice, is the other hole for the washer reservoir. Nice and convenient. That part was easy. We have a ground wire, we have our positive wire, and our outs. So yeah, we need a trigger wire or something, or however that works. Okay, so I just got done wiring. Wiring is not fun, but let's look and see what I got done here. So that relay's mounted, the wires run. This wire, I'll put it in this wire loom later, but I got to change the terminal. I got a new terminal for that because this is a mess. We'll change that. And where's my lead wire? Here we go. My trigger wire. That's what I was trying to say. So if we hook this to power, we should come on the fans. There we go. And they are working great. So all we have to do is run this wire on inside the cab. We'll do that. Put it on a toggle switch. Do I have a toggle switch in here that's not being used? I don't see one, but what's that do? I don't know what that does. Anyway, so we'll toggle switch it on the inside. One of these days we will get an intake for it, and then we'll put the temperature switch on inside of that, and it'll trigger by itself. But I always watch the gauges, so I'm pretty sure I won't forget to toggle it on when it's necessary. Yeah, let me wire this up, throw the hoses on, we'll put the belt on, and we'll get this thing fired up. And oh, don't forget the antifreeze, all that good stuff. Now we're going to mess with this mumbo jumbo mess while we're wiring, since we got to wire into this. Look at this. This is disgusting. This is just wrong. Plus, it has a power drain, and when it crackles and pops when I connect it. So that means something in here is drawing power, or something in the truck. I don't know. That's why they say do a spark test. So nothing on the key is not on in the truck, but this is drawing power, and that's how you know. So we're going to take this mess apart, and I'm going to touch some of these leads together. Maybe that'll kind of toss us in the right direction, because I believe one of these goes to the winch. Like I said before, one of them goes to the winch, one of them goes to feed power to the truck. And then for some reason we have our alternator running directly into the battery, which is not what you usually do. So, and then we got a couple weird wires tied together at the alternator. Any one of those things could be causing our power drain, as if we leave this truck hooked up, it's dead within an hour. I already had the battery charger on it because I forgot to disconnect it. So, yep. Let's take this. Look at this. Why? And how do you even think of that? So we got 3. Whoops. What is it? That doesn't even go anywhere. That wasn't even hooked up. Why was... Okay, well, that's one wire out of the way. So now we have 2 wires. Let's separate these guys. And let's touch these. That wire doesn't get any sparks. That wire doesn't seem to get any sparks. But this wire does. This wire that goes right to the alternator. So there is our power drain. So either, no, we got from here to here. This is the alternator. This should be sending charge to the system. Now for some reason we got these 2 wires and then this wire wrapped around, and yeah, things are happening. So I just wonder if we pull these 2 wires out, and where's that at again? This guy. If we connect this guy, do we still get sparkles? Go away. Yeah, we still get sparks. So there's a short somewhere, and I don't know where. So anyway, let's clean this up real quick, and then we can look for that later. Okay, let's trim this big hairy guy back here a little bit. This guy has got the frizzies real bad, and we just do not need that. Straighten these wires out and scrape some of the corrosion off of them while we're there. Well, that'll look a lot better. So yeah, winch and to the starter, main power to the starter. That's these 2 guys. So we'll put those right on in here, like so. This terminal it's really not big enough for this. This terminal was like $5 at the local auto parts store, and you know, I remember they used to just be $1, and they were bigger than this, and thicker than this, and better quality than this, and you know, a fifth of the price. So yeah, let's get this guy on here. Everybody should make money. There's a difference in between capitalism and thievery. I think they cross the line on that part. This is probably something you order from Alibaba. You guys heard of that website? These are probably, I don't know, probably 20 cents. You order like 10,000 of them, and then charge people $5 a piece for them. That's just outrageous. Well, there's that. Now we gotta figure out what we're gonna do here. Does this need to be here to charge, or does the main wire still work? I imagine this has to be there to charge. I don't know. We'll fire it up. We'll leave this off for now. We got this cleaned up. It looks way better. Yeah, we'll come back to this. Okay, here's what I've done. I went ahead and put the power steering belt on, so we got that out of the way. So I have to put the alternator belt on. So we got this hooked up. I left that off to see if this will function without it being hooked up weird like that. So let's give it a try. Let's hit the key switch, and we are getting 0 power. So let me turn this key on so I know when there, make sure there's power. Well, there's obviously something that I'm missing, or something it's missing between here and here. Let's see if we get power. We should get power when we connect this back. Yeah, can you hear the fuel pump? The fuel pump's running. So it's not getting power from here. It should be, right? Should it be? I can't remember. I can't remember what supplies the power. I'm gonna have to look that up, but we should have power in this fuse box over here, which we don't have any power there, or would have started. The fuel pump. Huh. We'll have to figure that out. That's for a future me's problem. That's a future me problem, I guess. That is weird. And it's probably what's draining our battery, I imagine. Or one of 100 other things. Yeah. See, there we go. That's what we need. We'll figure that out. Why does that not work? I don't know why that doesn't work. We'll wire it back up the way they had it for now, and then we'll look around and see what we need to make that work. We have a parts truck over there. If we need to pull some wires off, we can do that, but we're here on the radiator, so let's not get distracted. That's why it's hard for me to get things done sometimes, because I get distracted. You find another thing wrong and another thing is wrong, and you start fixing on that, and while you're fixing on that, you see something else that's wrong. Then you start fixing on that. One thing leads to another, and it's 10 years later and you haven't got nothing done. So just fix one thing at a time. Keep it running. Don't go pulling other things apart. That's how projects get abandoned. You start doing one thing, then you see something else, and then you see something else. Okay, hose is in. We need some coolant. All right, now it is coolant time. And I've said this in the past, but for those of you that don't know, when you go to the auto parts store and you buy the antifreeze, they ask you, you want the 50-50 mix so you don't have to mix it yourself? Don't get that. I mean, why would you pay for half a gallon of water? Because that's what you're doing. You're paying for half a gallon of water. It's a 50-50 mix. That pretty much means I am going to pour a whole gallon of pure antifreeze in here. And then I'm going to get this whole gallon of just water and pour it in here. That's 50-50. The unmixed stuff, the full blend as they call it, it's like $2 more. Only $2 more. So $2 for half a gallon of antifreeze. You don't have to mix it. You just pour it in the radiator. However much, if you don't need it all, you can get a couple empty jugs and you can pour half a gallon of the pure stuff in, and you can put a half a gallon of water. And then in that jug that you didn't pour, that you poured the half a gallon out, pour the rest of the water in there. And now you have 2 gallons. So there's that. Anyway, most of you already knew that, but some of you didn't, and you know who you are. Some of you bought 50-50 mix. Okay, what do we need? Oh, alternator belt. Alternator belt. And let's start this thing up. Yeah, we're almost there. Okay, let's tighten up the alternator. We'll use our channel locks because not only is any tool a hammer, but most tools are pry bars as well. Okay, that works really good. There we go. He's got that curve right there. Ow! It didn't like that, it bit me. Okay, we are ready to give it a try, make sure everything will work and circulate the coolant and make sure no fires happen. Fuel pump is working. Starts right up. Actually starts better now that I fixed that wiring. All right, let's have a look here. So we got a power steering belt. It's running pretty true. So I think I got the right amount of washers on underneath there. Oh, did our fans come on? Our fans should have come on because I wired it. Our fans aren't working. So I must have a dead fuse. Let me try that again. I'll be. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I didn't plug it in. So I was using this wire and just sort of jamming it right on in the fuse box right there. So let's check our fans and see if they're on now. Now they're working. Yep. So we got fans. We got our power steering. Let's make sure it doesn't make any squeaking sounds when we turn the wheel. A little bit. Oh, there it goes. It stopped. Just need to scuff that belt a little bit. So, yeah. Before, whenever I tried to turn it, it would squeal and squeal and squeal because that belt was loose. So, nice. All right. I think this calls for a Celetabor, what is it? What's the word? Celebratory. This calls for a Celetabor. Oh, no, I can't say it again. This calls for a test drive of happiness. Okay, I think I got everything wired back in the way it goes, and yep, the fans are running, and it starts right up. A little bit of squeak on that alternator belt. Maybe I should have tightened that up some more, but yeah, that's the alternator belt. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, well, when your anything can be used as a pry bar tool fails, you go get an actual pry bar and just way over tighten it, which is probably just as bad as not having it tight enough. There we go. Yeah, squeak now. Let's try that again. Much better. Oh yeah. That's the way we like it. Now, it is time for a Celetabor. I still can't say it. Celetabor. It's time to go for a test drive. Celebratory. It is time for a Celetabor. You're kidding me. Celetabor. It's time for a test drive. Let's go. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. Celebratory. Test drive. There we go. All right. get this thing back out on the road. It's been a while since I've driven it. I don't know, it's spring, I guess. 4 or 5 months ago. I moved it around the yard a few times, but really hasn't been out on the road. Seem to be hearing a little bit of a noise, though. I think we better pull over here and see what that sound is. It's not sounding good. What is that? Let's have a look here. I think our pulley is off a little bit. Yep, there it is. Did I not tighten this down? I thought I tightened that down. Or I can't get the studs in there all the way. Anyway, let me tighten that down. I can't remember. I must have messed up. Okay, this guy right here. I really thought I tightened that back down. Huh. Guess not. That is all the loose. So, got in a hurry. That would have been really sad if that would have went through our brand new radiator. Get on there. I didn't really tighten all these. Man. Oh my gosh. That is not good. But at least we stopped. And didn't keep going. There we go. Yeah, and at least it told us about it. All right, let's try it again. Okay, we should be good now. All right, yep. Not hearing any chattering now. Now let's get back on it. That's why you do test drives. To test. And find out what you forgot to do. All right. Let's run down to the gas station. This thing is on E, and hopefully we make it. All right, we got a little stretch of road here, so I am pretty sure that we need some traveling music. So here we go. That was a short little tune, but a happy one. And I just stopped at the gas station. I put some gas in it. I did notice there was a drip. I didn't get that bottom radiator hose tight either. So I don't know what happened, but I missed a lot of things. I got in a hurry. So I double checked all the lines. Everything else looks good. I put just a hair more coolant in it, and she's running about 180. So we're gonna head back to the house, not the house, we're gonna head back to Street Rite Garage Worldwide headquarters and make sure everything else is looking good and call it a win, hopefully. But I think before we go home, we definitely need to pull in here to the McDonald's and reward ourselves with a nice cold sweet tea, since it has got to be every bit of 90 some odd degrees. The heat wave is back in the Midwest and it is miserable. So let's stop here real quick and give me something to drink. So much better. Whew. They had the AC on real good inside. I didn't want to leave. Getting nice and cool. Then coming back out here in this heat. Probably not the best for you. I don't know, but I guess you have to cool down. but I did not know how hot it was out here until I went inside and cooled off a little bit. It's hot. Well, let's get back to the shop. All right, we are back en route to the shop. Like I said, it is smoking hot outside, and we're about 180 degrees. So we are doing excellent. Anything under 200 is a win. We are way, way below that. It always ran cool before, but I think it's right where we want it right now. So definitely doing good. Well, we're getting ready to pull back into the shop here. Still sitting at 180. No problems at all. So I'm gonna wind up cleaning up that wiring later and maybe getting an intake manifold. Maybe that's the next thing we'll do. I don't know. But it is just fine the way it is. So, let's double check everything. Make sure everything's nice and tight and nothing came loose on the ride, and we should be good to go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the radiator cap back on. What is wrong with me today? Unbelievable. Wow. Okay, well, we ran all the way back without a radiator cap on. We still did good. Didn't overheat. We dripped some water out, but that is about it. Wow. I do not know what's going on with me today. I am messing up everything. But overall, it's still a good job. I'm proud of this. Okay, my camera just shut down because it is too hot. It shut down and said, camera too hot. So I had to let it set for a little while. Anyway, what we got done, that power steering, good. We got the belt to stop squeaking. We got our radiator in, all the good electric fan stuff. Like I said, just ignore this. I'll put this in the wiring harness later, no big deal. Don't worry about it. We cleaned up this mess. This was something. I still got to figure out why, and I have to disconnect that because it will drain the battery. It's draining the battery because of this probably debacle right here, whatever's going on. It's got the main wire, and then it's got this other one, and it's a mess. We got to figure out that something goes down to the starter, I believe, and then the starter feeds all that, and I can't remember how it goes. It's simple. I just got to research it again and remember. Oh, I forgot to change the fuel filter though, and look, it's bubbling. That's how hot everything is today. Bubbling fuel filter. So we're gonna vapor lock, but we're done for the day. Anyway, all that goodness done, and she is running nice and cool. Even when we forget to put the radiator cap back on, it's running cool. So yeah, I think that's a good day. So if you want to see more stuff done to the old Vice Grip Garage ramp truck, put it down in the comments. What's next for this truck? Do we put the dually rear end under it and, you know, convert it, put the bigger springs and all that stuff? I mean, we could just leave it like that. It just seems a little iffy when I have a big load on it. So what else? Interior, should we do the interior? Should we put what about a cow hood? Should we get rid of Derek's old hood with a hood savers on it? Because it does have a little bit of a bend in it, and that's why the hood savers are on there. Maybe a nice cow hood in black. I don't know. Oh, the bumper. What about the bumper? I mean, it has the picnic bench bumper on it. Should we put a chrome bumper on there? Should we put, like, I don't know, a tow truck push bumper maybe? I don't know what to do next. We're not painting it. Definitely not painting it. The house paint stays on it, so we're not doing that. Anything else? comment below and we'll do something. We'll do what you want to do next time. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Rat Garage. Until next time. But wait, there's more. For all of you that stayed around to the very end, something a little special for you guys. Those others that clicked off, well, they don't get to see it. You know what this is? This is Derek's Vice Grip Garage Dodge Adventure, the one that had the sunroof that was missing. You remember that? He did a kind of revival on this one. Drove it down the street and back, and then he parked it, and yeah, he parted it out. Some of these parts went to the Roadworthy Rescue tow truck, that green one. The grill, some dash pads, and a bunch of stuff. Well, it was sitting down there, and I was like, hey dude, what are you gonna do with this? It's like, I'm gonna sell it to you. It's like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. So we bought it. It's been sitting here for a little while, so we need to get on this. The parts are hard to find. This is a 77, and it's a little bit difficult, so I'm rounding up the parts. That's probably why Derek parted this thing out, because I don't blame him. Hard to find parts, and I probably gave him his money back of what he paid for this originally, so everybody's a winner. All right, congratulations for everybody that stuck to the end. Until next time.